Energy, they all use energy. But the thing I was sort of hoping to get to, and JR sort of was moving us in the right direction, is that they're all things that we pretty much take for granted. Okay? We aren't often grateful for them because they're always around when we need them. And it's only when they're taken away that we realise how important they are to us. We had an instance of that a few months ago where the whole of the close where we live had no electricity for over 12 hours. And if you've got no electricity, you can't even, we couldn't even boil a kettle. Fortunately, we've got a gas hob, so we could boil a pan of water. All these sort of things that you take for granted. And transport's an interesting one because, if you don't, a lot of the time, if you don't have a car, you're a bit stuck. And if the trains go on strike, or for some reason the public transport system is disrupted, we suddenly realise how dependent we are on these things. So when we're used to things just being there, we can take them for granted. And it isn't just things that we take for granted, we also take people for granted. And that can be especially the people who love us. Jesus told a story about a young man who took his family for granted. He shared his home with his older brother and his dad. And after a while, he got really fed up and thought, well, I want my freedom. I want to go off and enjoy the world. So he said to his dad, give me my share of the estate. Now, he wouldn't get his share of his dad's estate until his dad had died. But he didn't want to wait. He didn't want to wait. He wanted to enjoy the money now. And amazingly, his dad said, yeah, go on then. And his dad went off, divided his property between this chap and his brother, and he packed off, left home, went to live somewhere else. And at first, he had a fantastic time living the high life on the money that he had. He had parties and drinks and more parties and fun. He was free to do what he wanted. And then the money ran out. And the crops failed in the country where he was staying, so he had nothing to eat. He managed to get a job, but it was the lowest job of all, looking after pigs. And he was so hungry that he wanted to eat what the pigs were eating. And as he was feeding the pigs one day, his mind went back to his dad, because his dad had been so kind and loving and generous. And he knew that the son knew that the people his dad hired to work for him were fed really well. So well, in fact, there was food to spare. So he realised, I want to go home. But how could he go home after treating his dad so badly? So he said he decided to ask his dad to hire him as a worker after he'd said sorry. And he headed back home, and to his amazement, his dad came rushing out the door, threw his arms around him and kissed him and said, "You're back, hooray, let's have a feast." And the son said, "I've sinned against heaven, against you. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son." But his father, instead of rejecting him, forgave him. And today, on Mothering Sunday, we are thinking about our mothers and the love that they give us. And it's easy to take that for granted as well. And so we can forget to thank our mums or be grateful to them. So how about after church today, if you have the opportunity to see your mum, say to your mum, thank you. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for looking after me. Thank you for caring for me. Whatever we do, let's never take for granted those who love us, but stay grateful for who they are and what they've done for us.